All right, guys, welcome to the second series this evening. We got Dank Team versus DG Prime. So we are going to be on Tomb of the Spider Queen for the first match of the game. And additionally, we will have once again Infernal Shrines as the second map series. So for Tomb of the Spider Queen, you can assume there'll be a pretty big priority on the wave clear just because you want to out rotate the enemy team, pick out those gems, and then be able to siege very heavily with the web weavers. Additionally, you're trying to get back-to-back turn-ins, so pick up those gems and keep rotating. So that way you can get a second set of web weavers. First one really trying to open up something like your top lane, and if you can do that, well, you can net yourself a very big snowball effect comparison to the other maps. So you have the Mayev ban going on down, and who will we see next? We can see Phoenix very likely as a ban. We could see potentially a Stukov or Mouth ban. We're going to see a Medivh ban here, and Medivh is a very high priority ban, which I don't know if DG Prime plays him, but it is a solid ban, especially when he can pretty much do the entire map very trivially because it's not very large, and he can basically port everyone in and out of turn-ins very easily, along with going across the map into the turn-in points. So like you check bot and you see they're not there, well, just port across into the top. So they're definitely taking their time right now to think about this. High priority picks include, there you go, like Phoenix. And if you pick a Phoenix, hopefully they just watched the last game. And so Garage and Stukov are going to be the picks here. So this is something that I was surprised that they didn't opt to do UCF ever, which was the Garage and Stukov combo. You basically toss them into a silence and they can't go or do anything out of that, and then the rest of the team just comes and slams them, and then you have dead enemy, hopefully a dead enemy at that point. Now they could easily go and do what a Greek economy did, which is just like full dive that Phoenix, have a heavy CC team, and ensure that the DPS isn't really going to be able to do too much. In Heroes of the Storm, CC is still king in my opinion. Not quite as bad as when it was a 3-man CC train of death, but still quite potent. So they have opted for a gray main in Diablo. This is Diablo, probably one of the best maps for Diablo. Between all the walls he can bang you into and how close the lanes are, he's often fighting in a wave, which then means he can get globes, which means that Diablo feels like he's immortal. Now, they could opt for someone like a Tychus here to help chew through Diablo's health pool. And the Greymane's an interesting choice. I feel like people still play him a ton, but he doesn't feel like he's being played as often in the HGC scene. See if I can pull up any numbers in the meantime. But who do you ban out here? You probably want to ban a support if you are the side of Dank Team. Dank Team already has their support, and there has been none selected on the side of DG Prime. So instead, they're opting for the Sonya ban, which means that they want to play a particular tank in solo lane. Maybe they want to play the Blaze. Maybe they want to play the Leo. I'm not sure what they're opting for because cards are still out there on the table, and it still allows DG Prime to choose that solo laner if they're going to hold onto that solo laner as their last pick on the side of Dank Team. And Azebo is looking like it's the potential ban. I'm not quite sure why they'd go Nazebo. I mean, can understand potentially why they're doing it because at this point, Dank Team has anything open to them. They have tank and a support, which means they have two DPS missing and a solo laner missing. So banning out an Azebo is kind of a safe thing to do if you're expecting the game to go late, especially if your own team is particularly trying to go for a late game comp. But we are definitely seeing Greymane, but we're not seeing him like we used to, which was essentially Greymane every game, I feel like. But back to the actual picks. So we had the Nazebo actually banned out here, not what I was expecting, like I said. Nonetheless, we're going to get the Tychus, which I was mentioning as a potential pickup here to help chew through the Diablo. And then we got the Blaze for the solo lane. Now, if I'm the side of DG Prime, you don't have Sonya available, but you do have Leo available to you. They could try and bust out the new Dahaka even if they really wanted to. I don't know how he fares in a solo lane setup like this, largely because his changes went through relatively recently, and I haven't actually seen anyone pick him up in quite a while. I'm betting he still loses the lane, but it's not as bad as it used to be. And additionally, I bet his actual team fight power has actually gone up a decent degree. Now, that means you could potentially play someone ranged in the bot lane, but that would mean you're losing out on a second tank, which isn't the greatest. But nonetheless, it is a possibility. So they're going to go with the Malthael. Malthael kind of gets countered by Blaze in that you drop the bunker and you can't last rights him, and you just jump in and out of the bunker throughout it. So they're probably looking for, I'm assuming, a D shield onto either Greymane or Malthael to let them make the big boy plays. And if it's Malthael, they might be going Tormented Souls, which isn't very popular anymore, but it's still there because you definitely don't need a D shield on a last rights. Pop that out. The Greymane, however, I can definitely see them de-shielding a Greymane, letting him Morgan into the back line, then going for the throat on whoever they need to, which would be a very potent combo onto like Tychus or Stukov, especially if Stukov can't flailing swipe or shove him away. The downside, of course, is if Stukov times flailing swipe perfectly, he can basically force the enemy team to be pushed back in such a way that Greymane is left all on his own, comes out of the D shield, and dies. So the final pickup here should be another DPS, and they're going to opt for a Gul'dan. Gul'dan is making a resurgence in games, and I feel like that's in part due to how good his ability to clear his clear is just insane. Like if you look at the team right now, they have Gul'dan who can pretty much solo clear those lanes. They have to deal with a Phoenix and a Greymane. On the other hand, though, Greymane can't go in. He can cocktail, and Phoenix can clear up the rest of it. But Diablo's going to take a lot of damage when he goes in. Basically, Diablo has to deal with a Tychus and a Gul'dan poke on him while he's going to pick up those gems. On the other side, you have Stukov as well, who can slow him and silence him, and then Garage, who can then toss him back into their team. So I feel like it's going to be very hard for DG Prime to actually pick up these gems in the 4-man rotation. So we should be getting back into this game very, very shortly, as long as everyone loads on in. So so this is going to be, I feel, a hard fought game for the side of DG Prime. As I mentioned before, they basically have a team comp that is going to be countered in a lot of ways. We have, see, the echoed corruption once that comes online will be insane. Got the dash coming on out, Warbreaker, Neural Stim Pack, Growing Infestation. On the other side, we still have choices being made, it appears. So let's introduce our two teams. We got Ha 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 on the Tychus, Yusha GG on the Gul'dan. Asian Gamer is playing the Garage. We got Mac Attack on the Stukov. And finally, for that Blaze, we got Hyperius. And that is your Dank team. So for DG Prime, we got Super Trunks on the Diablo, Rowendian on the Phoenix, Graduation on the Greymane, and X152 later on the Uther. And finally, for Malthael, we got Krotos. So like I said, they're winning the rotation more because they have a much better advantage. Nicely done there from Yusha GG, trying to interrupt the rotations. There's a flip. Phoenix has to warp on out. There's an overpower though onto Asian Gamer, and he won't be making it out of here. Getting a little too aggressive. He really needs to let them walk further forward. So when he flips them, he is on, closer to his side on the map. They do lose a little bit of that XP, but they still have the superior clear overall, but they can take advantage of this potentially. A nice charge or a nice feed for the corruption stacks. We got already 8 of them in the first minute and 30 seconds of this game. So Yusha GG stacking up that echoed corruption really quickly. So, like I said, lanes getting cleared up, 4-man rotation. They are going to catch this. Okay, they do catch it in time. Top lane, they had Greymane catching that, and they can get back to normal now at this point since they have everyone together. In the bot lane, we actually have Krotos winning that slightly. And let's see what was picked up in the meantime. We had the advanced targeting. We had On a Pale Horse. We have a Wave of Light coming on out and Perfect Aim. So, like I said, they can clear this relatively safe. And on the flip side, they can potentially punish anyone who's walking forward. So Warbreaker, we already are at 6, so he's already gotten the extra damage come out from there. And Asian Gamer is able to stop this rotation. He's getting super aggressive there. No throws yet, but he does disrupt the rotation. And so they clear that up. They can get down here now to actually finish clearing it. One thing they shouldn't do is clear the top at all, largely because of the fact, or try to start clearing it, because if they start clearing it ahead of time, they might lose out on some XP. Asian Gamer going really far again, popping the Indomitable. He may not be able to make it out. He will actually with a 3-man queue. He is about to finish Warbreaker in record breaking time. 10 out of 15 already. But Echoed Corruption at 20. 11 on Dash. This is pretty ridiculous. Bad Gavin. Okay, I've been told to refer to X152 leader as Bad Gavin. So I will be doing that. Hopefully it's not something he hates, but we'll do that. Game sound. There is game sound, but it's really low. Let me increase the game sound for you guys then. Okay, that is higher. So everything should be hearable at this point now. So Nice throw coming on out. They don't have anything to hold down the Phoenix at this point, so they're gonna just have to walk away with pretty much, tossing him in and letting them know who's boss. Yeah, 25-11. There's another throw. There's a slow. We get the signs. There's a silence finally coming out from Mac Attack, and there is Phoenix kill that they've been longing for. I think that was throw number 3, potentially even throw number 4 on the side of Dank Teme without actually getting the kill. So they're not actually executing that Stukov combo super well at this point. There's a stun from Super Trunks. There's interrupt. There's the throw on to Bad Gavin. There's the follow-up silence, but it's not going to land the right point. Graduation is really low as well now. There is Krotos trying to get on into the action. Graduation coming on in and should be backing on out. Okay, he has backed on out. We now have 7s picked up here, and they are working their way to get in the blue web weavers, which they just complete. So this is going to be big. Asian Gamer really far forward. He is super aggressive, Asian Gamer. He is not afraid of anything on the side of DG Prime at this point. Almost 100 souls on the side of Diablo. 1 more for the Warbreaker to finish. 11 more for the Echoed Corruption. Dash almost done as well. And there is all the souls he needs. Echoed Corruption, 34 now. This is going to be really scary, really fast. Like, part of the problem with Echoed Corruption is generally how long it takes to actually complete it. But because of the fact that they're not actually ooh, there's the Warbreaker finish. There's the toss over. Not going to combo it in time, but Super Trunks is super low. And they get another Q onto Bad Gavin. They're just running through this at this moment. Mid-fork going to be going down. They don't have graduation to support them. So they're able to walk through this as a 4-man pretty easily. They are well on their way onto 10. They have almost a full level lead, a literal level lead, and almost a full XP lead. And there is the Echoed Corruption done in 6 minutes. This is really bad for the side of DG Prime right now. Echoed Corruption, as I was saying, like, part of its weakness is that, well, it takes a lot of stacks, and if you're paying attention, you're not going to be stacking it that easily. You can give them a stack, maybe 2 stacks, but usually never 3 stacks, because you won't clump up, or shouldn't clump up too much. But you can see they're losing gems over there in the meantime, and red has picked it up. So DG Prime has gotten their own web weavers, no back-to-back, but they're fighting a 10-9 situation. This is almost a terrible choice from DG Prime, because they're not going to be able to fight evenly or safely. They basically have these web weavers pushing in, and these web weavers, well, these web weavers won't be able to be pushed with, because they're going to be fighting, 10 versus 9 situation. In fact, like, you can see them back out already. They're looking for the 10, but at this point, they're basically going to have to give up everything. They lose the mid web weaver, they are losing the top web weaver, and bottom is almost cleared out as well. Hyperius, though, in the bot lane, he is about to be executed. Bunker is nowhere to be seen there. And the top lane, however, there goes Unstoppable. There is the APOC, and there is a big stun from the side of DG Prime, netting themselves 2 kills, 1 in the top and 1 in the bot lane. And on Dank Teme, they are not able to capitalize at all. So what looked like they weren't going to be getting too much out of it, between Krotos getting that kill bottom and then the nice engage from the side of DG Prime, they were able to walk away with a decent amount. They got themselves the XP lead. They got themselves a front wall. They didn't get anything there, but they did get the fort. So they traded out fort mid and fort bot and the wall. So right now they're a little bit ahead in actual structures. Debatably, the mid lane is a better lane to take down first. Asian Gamer all alone, as he is going to be charged on in by Super Trunks. There's Indomitable, but it won't really matter as he is trapped on in there. The last right's coming on in, taking out Garage, and he has just been fully smorked. And Dank Teme will have to walk away with knowing that at least they still have 4 members alive. The run and gun is completed. Sorry, the dash is completed, not run and gun. And they will now be able to turn in for the back-to-back web weavers. So the back-to-back web weavers are going to be pretty good here, as they already got themselves a decent amount. Top lane will push into this fort. Mid lane, they can sit here and force them to stay or take the fort. They could also opt to fully defend the top lane and then let them take this front, because top lane is significantly more important in Tomb of the Spider Queen. You have the boss up here, which, well, if you take the boss, you can win a game, especially later on. And they're closing in on 13. So if they can take a little bit of a front wall, a tower, they get themselves 13. They have advantage and they push on in. So what was looking a little rough has already flipped majorly once the heroics have come out. Webweaver is going to be sort of watch top lane. They don't really commit in the top lane, but they also didn't commit in the mid lane as a team on the side of DG Prime, which is kind of strange to say the least. They didn't get the full value they could have or should have gotten. Bot lane has pushed in onto this keep wall. Won't be getting too much more out after that. So like I said, 13 was picked up. We had the Die Alone. We had Cold Hands. Last Rites already with 2 stacks. We got the Inevitable End as well. Finally, we got Advanced Targeting, Emergency Protocol, the Combat Advantage, the Purification Salvo. We also have Auxiliary Shields. We have a combo of Holy Shock and Wave of Light, the Hand of Protection, Divine Shield, and Well Met. And it looks like they're trying to collapse in here for to gank someone, but they did not rotate up in time to actually dismount someone. So they almost have enough for a third turn-in. I don't think I've ever seen 3 turn-ins in a row ever in Heroes of the Storm. Normally, like, someone dies, someone gets greedy, or you just haven't collected enough, and the other team manages to get a second or get their own turn-in the meantime. So they're really close now, 9 away from getting themselves a turn-in. And actually, Dank Team does not have enough for their for their second turn-in at this point. So they have hit 13, however. They're in a little bit of a bad position, as Gavin has kind of shown his position off in front of Asian Gamer. Not exactly what you want to do. You tend to want to rotate in such a way that the enemy doesn't actually know where you are and has to use something to spot it out. Okay, so 13, we finally had the pickup there. The defense measures, Health Stone, Neo Steel Coating, Fuel Leak, Neo Steel Coating being really big here. We also have the Virulent Reaction for the root. You also have your standard build across here. We got the Incendiary Elixir being picked up here. And now is the turn-in attempt. And there's a commit. There's a taunt. There is the cleanse coming out a little bit late. There's the toss over onto Graduation. And he is going to be going down. No, the D-Show comes out. A big APOC manages to hit 3. There comes the Odin. And they are looking for some kills here. But I don't know if that Odin is coming out a little bit too late now for ha 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 ha. They are still chasing, they are still pushing, but they didn't get the web weavers, as DG Prime has managed to pick up the web weavers, and picking up those web weavers is a big deal, as, like I said, 3 in a row. Odin is down. They're looking like they're going to potentially get 16. They can get themselves the top 4. They can get themselves the mid, and they're still looking to fight because Odin is down. There's a curse bullet landing on Asian Gamer. Chunking him down. Krotos is really deep, getting tossed on back. There comes his unstoppable. It will not matter, but he has tossed out the kill onto Garrosh, and they have traded 1 for 1. They are still pushing on in, and there is all the DPS. There, a massive shove to the other side, and they have sniped down Phoenix a little bit, but a single Q from Uther heals him on back up. So top will be taken. 16 is about to be hit. They do have a man down, but it's not going to be too big a deal. They'll be able to clear this up pretty easily on the side of a Dank Team. And there's a stun. Follow up CC. And Super Trunks going to get the cleanse a little bit late. There's a hard fight. And can they get themselves a Phoenix? They will not be able to. Phoenix able to walk away, cleanse down, and they get a lot of value out of that third set of web weavers. They managed to push in fully. They took down the top 4. They started on the bottom. They started on the top towers. 1 down. Second one about to go. Bot lane did some tower damage. Mid lane, they almost got themselves to both of the towers. So DG Prime recovering from that early game and really turning around once they started team fighting, and well, once they had some heroics to back them up in those team fights. And 16 is super scary. This is the scariest thing ever if you play against a Diablo. Uh, Basically, you can potentially get double stunned, and double stuns are super, super scary. They're now looking for a gank, and because they know where they are, they can potentially gank. They have been caught out though in position. Super Chunks looking for the kill on Blaze. They do catch him out. There's a stun. There's a CC onto him. Hyperius has dropped the bunker. All of them have come on in. Super Chunks is getting melted right now from the Tychus. There's the taunt, and they get themselves a kill and a flip in for the Krotos. Come and join us, baby. But the last riot says goodbye, and there's another kill. There is a third kill, and it's not going to be good enough. Krotos comes in, takes out the tanks, and they have gotten themselves a 3-for-1, or 3.5, or sorry, a 3 for a half, essentially, because Diablo died. He lost his souls, but he's immediately back up. And you can see the call is get the boss. We have 20 seconds. We don't have enough to do anything else, and this is a smart call. Unfortunately, Diablo started this way before anyone was there, so they're clearing this up. They should now know what they're doing. And they need to prep this by either turning in, trying to give them a counter push, or getting the bruisers. So they're going to prep this by turning in for a bit of a counter push to help defend against the boss. And additionally, it should push out the mid and bot a little bit, but they're going to be losing the gems and the value from this web weaver. This is more so a defensive web weaver than anything else. And when you're choosing a defensive web weaver, well, you obviously are going to not be able to get gems, not going to be able to soak all those lanes. And you can see like they've opted on the side of DG Prime to actually clear these lanes, let the boss just kind of free push, which hasn't managed to get much done, honestly. It's only gotten itself the top tower, and their weavers essentially haven't gotten them anything either. So they opted to waste the turn in so that way they could force DG Prime's hand on what they choose to do. Do they potentially lose forts and maybe even get pushed up to the keep, or do they opt to push or sorry, defend and stop that, but also then lose any real boss value? So they're both looking for a potential flank. Krotos in a bad position right now. Can he get the Q off? No. They do get the dismount, but it's not going to be good enough because he does have On a Pale Horse, which gives him that extra mounted speed. So it's very, very hard to catch him. There's one down. There's the Indomitable Throw. There's the taunt. And Grayman gets the D-Shield to be able to walk away. There is the Phoenix. The APOC has now come out, landing and doing absolutely nothing that game. But Super Trunks has pulled in Asian Gamer. There's the bunker still being used. He's able to get on out of there, and Krotos is really low. They might be able to pick up Krotos there. There's the silence, not getting much done. There's the Q on to graduation. He has been tossed back into the silence, and they finally have walked away with their first big team win in quite a while for the side of Dank Teme. Asian Gamer all over the place. That silence getting thrown back in. It's like you can't leave. I want you in my silence. And Phoenix might be getting tossed up again. There's Super Trunks getting stunned out. No taunt available quite yet. These shields should still be down. But there's another follow-up Q. The corruption melting through Diablo. And they have gotten themselves a taunt. And now another throw. There's a follow-up stun. Phoenix, is he about to go? There he goes. Oh my. Oh my. Dank Teme completely busting through DG Prime. They are, well, at this point, they might be the Alpha and Omega here. And Prime might be actually going down. So this gives them the opportunity to get a keep. They don't have to deal with the Diablo. They don't have to deal with Phoenix. They have a full 5-man. They have Stukov there. Blaze going on in. Hyperius hot on it. Hot on the track of Krotos. And they do not get much of anything there. They just need to Echo Corruption this over and over again because he should have Ruinous Affliction. And Once it hits, it'll do a ton of damage. He did pick up a Curse of Exhaustion. There's Unstoppable. It has been burned. Protoss will walk away. They have to get out of here really soon. If they get re-engaged upon, they're going to lose this fight potentially terribly. And that's what Kratos is trying to do. There's a slow onto Kratos. And it's not going to be any re-engage because they managed to disengage between the Warbreaker and the Weighted Pustule. Nice job on the side of Dank Teme, looking good there, making the plays happen. And so we missed the 20s that were picked up as well. So we have the Earthshaker with the Titanic Might. We have the Haunt. We have the big red button. We have the Fortified Bunker. And finally, push comes to shove coming out here. So Diablo has almost gotten all his souls back. He did have Soul Shield. Point that out. We got the Hellgate. We got the Hunter's Blunderbuss. The Bulwark of Light coming on out instead. Wow, you don't see that too often. Asian Gamer going on deep in there. There is the Horrify. There is the Taunt. Say goodnight to Diablo. Kratos coming on in, looking for a kill. There is Phoenix getting so much value. But the bunker says, nay, you shall not get anything out of anything you want to do, Phoenix. And Phoenix does manage the warp just in time so he doesn't get hit by that big red button. But this is not good for the side of DG Prime. Boss is up in 11 seconds, and it looks like they won't be able to take the boss in time. They might actually be looking to push an end because they have mid lane pushed in very heavily. They should be able to get a keep here and pressure the core simultaneously. Bot lane is really far back, so it would have been nice if they pushed that in really fast before getting down there, so that way they can have, you know, keep port pressure along with everything else. So we also had that secondary fire picked up. We still have nothing from Kratos, so he's still deciding and holding it until the right moment if he picks up his respawn or not. So top is going to be pressuring in. There's the Q. There they go for Phoenix. Phoenix is out of there. There's the taunt now onto Diablo. He's been tossed back on in there. APOC is being used, but it won't land on a single member. There's another Q, and that Q almost kills Diablo, resulting in D-Shield having to be blown on Diablo, not who you want it to be used on. And they are now looking to potentially end the game on the side of Dank Teme. Ha 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 is super far though, but it won't matter. They won't be able to return in time. And there goes the core health. They're at 80, 60% and going down. There's the stun on Asian Gamer, and he gets annihilated. And there they still go. Big red button available. They are still nuking this core. 20% and working on it. They still have the potential to win this. They have scared them away mostly. And it looks like they're actually backing out 30%. And that's all they are going to be getting here right now. Phoenix is chasing on in. Hyperius is super low. Yusha GG is almost low as well. Kratos coming on in. There, last rights. Do we get the last? There is the pound from Super Trunks. There is the kill, however, onto Kratos. And the shove all the way onto the map, and 1% remains on the core. All they need is Winions. All they need is a oh my. Mac Attack is just shoving them left and right. A single Echoed Corruption will do it. Haha is fully committing here. No, he hasn't committed. He's committed, but not committed. And they are back on in this. This is absolutely insane. Haha is down. Yusha GG is going to be next up on the list of kills. He has burned the Horrified to ensure that he does not go down. Wow. 1%. I do not know if DG Prime can come back from this. They have 2 keeps down, a third one about to fall here. All they need to do is basically run straight at the core as a 5-man, and they can do this. They just walk through any of the open places at this point. They can even walk through the bot keep, and they can GG this. They don't have turn in. DG Prime does have turn in. What they need to do is get the boss and get the turn in. And the rest of Dank Teme has to basically be watched. They need someone who's spotting and watching the lanes, because they can't let them backdoor either. And you can see they sent one back to try and deal with the clear. But Diablo's tossed in, Hellgate being used to escape, and there is a cleanse? Not quite sure why the cleanse came out there. They get in most of their gems. Not quite enough. If they could get the boss and turn in, that could potentially save the game for them. because they need to relieve the pressure in the lanes. They need to keep them pushed out and keep vision on them simultaneously. If they get the turn in, but they don't get the boss, they're going to be facing catapults with their web weavers, which I don't know if it'll be enough. And in the meantime, Dank Team knows the situation. There comes the APOC. There's one stun. They're able to commit in fight here if they so choose. They're waiting for the rest of the team to rotate. What's going on here, guys? They need to fully commit here. DG Prime needs to fully commit. Okay. They've rotated up, but now they see and they pulled off. There's the wall bang. Number 2, there's the throw onto Uther. There's a hard fight, and they have just gotten themselves an Uther. A taunt onto Diablo, but he does have redemption. There is the damage from Phoenix coming on out. He should be able to respawn here really soon, and there they get the counter kill. Mac Attack is next up on the list. They pull him on back. He is going to be going down. Graduation coming on in, chomping through him. Asian Gamer going to be going down. Yusha GG, last member left along with Blaze. He's going to be trying to juking and jiving. Hyperius with a good peel, and it won't be enough. Graduation jumping all the way across, and they have managed to save the game, preventing Dank Team from actually getting the boss. But what was great was Super Trunks had actually went across into here, got the vision, wall banged Hyperius, and then was able to initiate. I'm thoroughly surprised that it went so well for him. Not because it should have gone poorly, but these fights have gone back and forth where basically whoever gets a critical kill wins the team fight. And you can see from the death timers that the deaths were in favor of, or the kills were in favor of DG Prime, where they get themselves the Mac Attack, they get the Garage, had the Phoenix up, they're able to push on in. They're now looking for themselves for their first keep. They have the lanes all the way pushed up, but they don't have themselves Phoenix, which is potentially a critical mistake here. They need to clear up the lanes. You can see they've already lost the top Web Weaver, and they don't have enough pressure from their team comp to actually push him with the Web Weaver. They need the boss, and they need it now. Unfortunately, they're not going to have the boss right now, but what's great is that they've positioned in such a way that the Web Weaver is bottom. They know it's bottom, and they could theoretically force a fight, or they can go and do the boss. It looks like they're going to force the fight here. There's a shove. Mac Attack has caught him out. They won't be able to do anything here. And I actually think the bold play, which might have been the only play, is to have gone up to the boss while they were down there. Let them finish and take the boss for free. You can see like they've already shown themselves. At this point, Dank Team will go and rotate up potentially after they get this and start getting the pressure on the mid lane, which, well, with the combination of Knights and Catapults, will definitely put pressure onto the core. So at this point, they are getting their own counter pressure. Dank Team is now running on up as they assume they might be doing a boss, but they're not. So bot lane is shoved all the way in, which is good. Mid lane is not shoved in at all, so they have to deal with top and mid. Top and mid have to be cleared out, and they have to be really safe about this. They have to keep vision on the boss simultaneously, and they need to win a team fight decisively once again if it should break out. They don't have to worry about, though, a turn in on the side of Dank Team, which is really critical. Also, Malthael should have no one can stop death once again, as it is 3 minutes long. Oh no, Phoenix is looking for the throw. He doesn't have anything. There's the cleanse, there's the taunt, there's the D shield. He should be able to get out now. They shouldn't have anything else. The Q not coming out in time, or coming out a little too early. Protoss is out of position at this point. They burnt a lot to save him, but Protoss takes a ton of damage. They take in Asian Gamer. He gets banged into the wall there. There's the signs. There's the throw. And say goodnight. Hellgate coming on out. There's the APOC. But the bunker preventing any damage. And this should be GG. Super Trunks taking a fight he shouldn't have taken. Because unfortunately for him, this is not Dragon Ball Z. There's no Goku. There's no Teen Gohan. But somehow they managed to turn it around because Super Trunks comes back from the past or comes back from the future the second time around with his 100 souls, and they're now going to be able to throw this away completely. They now can march to the core. They need one person to defend and prevent Katas from getting on here. They just need to clear top once, and they can get themselves a keep. And they need to get onto this really fast. Like, they're going really slow. They still have 25 seconds, but without Greymane, they don't have a really good siege comp. So they're going to get the Greymane. 20 seconds. There's a shove all the way across the map. Not who they want to shove because they need the Phoenix. Mac Attack should have another shove up really soon. There's the next shove, sending him all the way across the map. I don't know if Mac Attack has done it. He may have actually saved the game temporarily. There's 3 seconds before they come back up. I don't think they can't do this now. They cannot do this. This is a counter throw. They had the game in the bag and they lost it. I can't believe this. I don't know if I've seen something this crazy before, where Super Trunks essentially throws the game, but then he respawns, re-engages, everything is down for Super Trunks, and they wind up taking themselves a 3-0 onto Dank Teme, or giving themselves a 4-man advantage, and they'd never get Greymane over there in time. And because of that, they're not able to kill any keeps. Or sorry, they're not able to get into the core. They kill the keep, but that's about it. This is a game of throws indeed. We're 30 minutes in, and this game is still not over. When it assuredly could have been over if they had committed as a team to going on the core. Instead, they kind of lollygagged and decided like to commit and then not commit and then commit again as for ha 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 ha. And yeah, they could have been over. This is why you commit as a team to killing that core. You might all die, but they mostly all died anyways, and so if you all die on the core at that point in the game, you're fine. So everything should be back up. Curse Bullet went out, not hitting Asian Gamer. There's a throw, there's a cleanse, and there we go. Protos is out safe and sound. Oh, there they go. Overpowered Asian Gamer into there. There's the taunt, though. And Asian Gamer throwing 2 of them in. There is the APOC. APOC not getting too much. There is the Odin being used. They already have a member down. And there is Yusha GG just draining his life from Kratos to stay alive. But it's not going to be good enough as they have lost 2 members. Hyperius trying his best. The D-Shield coming out. He's looking for a kill, but it will not be there. And they have traded 3 for 1. As they now have a Mac Attack getting chased down by the Phoenix. Ha 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 ha. Will not be able to hold it on his own. There is catapults and a siege giant pushing on in. At this point, bot lane is down. We have the catapults coming on in. They should now be able to officially close this out. They have done it. DG Prime has done it. They have reasserted the fact that they are Prime. They are not Dos. They are not Ni. They are not Du. They are Uno. Ichi. They are Ichiban. DG Prime has decidedly come back from this game, except Uther is tanking this core. And I think they have this game in the bag. What? No, they don't have this game in the bag. They're not Ichiban. They're not number 1. They have gone and gotten themselves killed. Malthael is killed, but he should be able to respawn at this point. He should be have no one can stop death. I believe it should be available. The core is at 86%. I cannot believe it. I don't know what happened there. They got themselves 3 kills for 1. And we're not able to close out. They did get red web weavers. They just need to run this down. Clear up the lanes. Clear up these lanes. This is the most throws I've seen in a game, I think, ever. There's the unstoppable. He's looking for the throw. Asian Gamer's not going to get it. This is absolutely wild. This is where they're just going in, and they're like, we're gonna full on face tank this core. There's the APOC. APOC landing on no one. There's a big red button. They're starting to nuke it down. They are going for the core. They just need the corruption on here, and that should be game. They have finally committed Ace 5, and Dank Team going for the throws back and forth between both of them has finally gotten themselves the win after 30 plus minutes on Team of the Spider Queen. My God, look at these numbers. 127,000, 114,000, 112,000. We have healing in the 162k, 105k. I mean, Bad Gavin tossing out those D shields all day long, and they were super critical to surviving. And it's actually a great pickup in retrospect because Uther, even though he does terrible against the corruption, is able to help deal with the throws. You basically toss the D shield on, and all of a sudden, like, your teammate who was thrown in all the big cooldowns from Garage were used, well, it doesn't actually matter because he's de-shielded and you're not doing anything to the de-shielded target. So hold on tight while we get into the next game.